You've been journaling every day, and yet somehow your manifestations aren't happening in your life. Today, we're going to explore why. And by the end, you'll not only know why things aren't working out for your journaling, but how to solve it so you can get your manifestations in your life faster. Hey everyone, happy Thursday. It's Acacia, the CEO legal coach, and this is the Aligned Business Series where you get to ask your questions live as we talk about real challenges that business owners are facing. So make sure you find your chat button because I'll be happy to answer everyone's questions. And I see you all coming in. Hello. Okay, so today is about the journaling. Now, journaling is something that whenever I hear people talk about, like, oh, that's a great idea to manifest, I want to journal about that. Or I love journaling every day. Let me do this. Okay, journaling is an amazing tool. It's one that I have used and sometimes go through phases. Well, I'll use it daily and then I'll stop for a bit. But the key is it getting you where you want, right? Is it getting you where you want, or is it something that feels good, or you're supposed to do it? You're told you're supposed to do it as part of manifesting. Let's dive in and see where things might be falling flat in that practice for you. Okay. So let's first even talk about what it is to manifest. What is it to even manifest here? Because something that ends up happening that I see so many manifesting teachers, they talk about like 9 and 10 different steps. That's overkill. That's overkill. Sometimes you can do it in as little as 2 to 3. I usually teach around 5. And I've got those in my free guide, but let me tell you what they are, okay? First, you need to decide. Decide what it is you are after. And you've probably heard that one before, because how can you know what to call in if you haven't decided? The next is to feel into that. Feel into what it is to have that. And we're going to look at how journaling plays into every single one of these today. So I'm not just giving you a manifesting overview. We are going to connect journaling to every one of these steps. But then here is the biggest thing about manifesting that a lot of people don't even teach, which I find like, how can you teach manifesting if you don't teach this step? Or people don't even know what this step is. Oh, I've heard of that word, but what does that mean? Okay. The number one thing you must do in manifesting is remove blocks. Remove the blocks. Because here's the thing, you've decided and you can feel into it, right? And that's probably taught by everyone. And what ends up happening is you've now shown your energetic and mindset the compass. You're like, here's the direction we're going to go. This is what we want to bring about. Great. And then you just keep feeling in that direction, feeling in that direction, feeling in that direction, feeling in that direction, and nothing else is happening. Sound familiar? Here's why. Because if you're meant to have that, which you are, you wouldn't have been able to think of it and call it in, then there's no reason you should not have it. The only reason you don't have it is that the route between it and you is not clear. And we call those route blockers blocks. Route blockers are blocks. So you still can't get from Los Angeles to New York if there's a massive tree in the road, right? You can't do that. If that's your only way there, you still have to remove the damn tree. And that's what it is to really manifest. Decide where you're going and remove everything that's in the way. Remove it. And this is going to be really key when we start to look at manifest journaling today. But then the last phase, the last thing in any manifesting is receiving. Calling things in is different than receiving them. Okay, we've gone through that. I just walked through 4 key steps to manifesting. And like I said, they are in my free manifesting guide if you want to get those, because there's a quicker, easier way to manifest. You don't need 9 to 10 steps. But why is your journaling falling flat when it comes to these? So let's look at each of those steps. Decide. Okay. Are you writing things that you want, or are you writing the things you're ready to have, to do, to be, to experience? A journaling prompt is not a someday. It's not a pillar that is something over there on the pedestal. It's meant to be now. So when you're feeling into it, which is step 2, right? We want to know, if I had that in this very moment, right here, right now, what does this feel like? How does this fill my heart and my chest? How does my mouth feel, my jaw? What are the words that want to come out of my mouth? What am I thinking? How does my gut feel? How do I walk? How do I stand? How does this feel embodied in my body? And when we journal those things, and there's an exercise I have in my Manifest Brilliantly program where we actually go through a whole visualization exercise, and then I have you write it down while you're in that high energy vibe, because what you've now done is you've given yourself a reminder, for one, that came from future you, but two, it carries that energy. So every time you connect with it, you get more of that energy in that space. Right? Really, really beautiful and amazing. Yes, I will get to your questions. Keep them coming in. Yes, yes. So that is really, really empowering, because now you can go back to what you wrote down. So if what you're writing down doesn't carry that level of oomph, that level of energy, that level of this is mine right here, right now as I touch it, odds are you're not really deciding or using your journaling for that. So we want to step into, if you want to use your journal for the deciding and feeling in steps of manifesting, you want to do that. That's the way you want to use it. That's the way you want it to feel. The next step is removing those blocks. And this is where most people end up falling short in their journaling, because journaling can do some of the block removal, but it cannot do all of it. It cannot. Journaling is one of many resources. In my Manifest Brilliantly program, I was like, where did I put that? It's in my Manifest Brilliantly program. I have a list where I go through, I think, over 20 tools based on what type of block you're having and how and when you want to remove that block. These are the best tools, and there's usually 2 or 3 per thing that are great for you. Journaling only comes up some of the time, and here's why. There's 3 types of blocks. 3 types of blocks. There are those blocks that come in the thoughts, and they could be our active thoughts, the thoughts that we're thinking all day, every day, or they could be in the subconscious thoughts. And journaling can be great at this one, because as you're writing out what you're thinking and what's going on, you might get down on the paper. Oh my God, I was afraid of that? Didn't see that. Or you keep writing, especially when you hit like a moment of pause where you're like, I'm done writing my thoughts. Keep going. Give yourself another like 3 minutes just to sit, see what comes up. That's usually when the subconscious starts to come to the conscious. It's like, oh, conscious stuff is now out of the way. It's on this paper. Now the threshold, the door is open for the subconscious thoughts to start coming through. And we can sometimes get those onto the paper. Journaling can be phenomenal at this. Phenomenal, right? Because you're just in the stream of consciousness. Great tool for that. But that's not the only type of block. I said there's 3 types, right? So what is the next one? The next set of blocks are what I like to call feeling blocks. And there's 2 categories in this one as well. Feeling, number 1, is sensations in your body. What do you feel when you think of this? When does your gut tense up? If the idea of a really hot guy walking into the room causes your chest to flatten or feel something is there, what is your body doing? Guess what? Journaling can't tell you what your body's doing. And so what your body is doing, if they are not hell yes, 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 I am so happy and gratitude and full of joy reactions, those are blocks we want to move. Those are blocks you want to move out of the way there. Right. And I often teach the process that comes out of the book, The One Thing Holding You Back. It's a great, great book. Even though it was not taught for blocks, that is what the method I use because it seems to be the fastest. But that one, right? A journal can't tell you your gut is tensing up. It can't tell you your toes curl up when you walk into the room with this person. It can't tell you that, no matter how much you write, no matter what prompts you have. So when it comes to feeling blocks, the journal can't help you. The other type of feeling blocks are literally your emotions. I feel this way. I feel that way. And noticing as you go to carry out this action, this inspired action, do you feel scared? Do you feel this? Do you feel apprehensive? Do you feel like you're going to die? Right? Some people have the biggest fear of getting on a stage. It's just standing up and talking. And yet they have like the biggest panic ever. So Again, your journal can't tell you that one, but your journal can be used once you've spotted it. Oh, that's so weird. The thought of going on stage freaks me out. You can journal to help explore the thoughts and the subconscious thoughts behind it, but it cannot identify it and completely remove it for you, right? So feeling blocks are a big one that get left out, and why journaling can sometimes help as a tool in there, but it's not going to be everything for you. So knowing when and where and how to use that. And then the other type of blocks are action blocks. Action blocks. Are you procrastinating? Are you inspired to take these actions, but not taking them? Are you doing things because you have to? You should. You don't get a choice. I have to go to work. I hate my job, but I have to go to work. Your actions. We want to take inspired action. We need to take inspired action. And so if that's not the way your actions are feeling, we go back to how they are feeling, right? So one, are you even taking the actions? Are you procrastinating? Are you in there? Are you like, yes, I got this. I'm going to take this action no matter what. And then how do you feel when you do that? Right? I was really, really gung-ho about like, I'm going to change my life back in my 20s. I came from, not great household. I had no money. And I was like, I really need to move myself forward. And I propelled myself forward. I took action every single day. But a lot of it was forced action. I did what I thought I had to do. I fought for what I thought was mine. And these were great because they eventually brought them about. However, I ended up in the hospital because I ended up taking my body down. That tension inside my body as I did those actions was slowly destroying me, which meant the whole time there was an easier, more aligned way to do it. But I wasn't listening. I was so determined. We call this manufactured manifesting, by the way. I was so determined I was going to push through. And ultimately, it breaks you. You will get burnout. Your body might fail you. This is when you start to get disease and sick and whatever, right? It all comes through us all a little bit differently. But whenever you hear those stories, that's what's going on there. If I had ever stopped and been like, you know what? I don't even like lawyers. Why am I a lawyer? I don't like doing this as much as I like doing that. I feel more called to do these actions. Journaling could help me understand the thoughts and the subconscious behind why I was doing that. Oh, I did that because my dad was overly aggressive about these things. Oh, I'm doing that because I had read somewhere that that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, okay. And I could change my way of thinking about it, which would ultimately change how I'm going about the action. Right? Do we see that? So it's not that the journaling cannot help removing the three areas of blocks: mental, feeling, and action. It's that it's not enough. It's not enough. We must go into these other parts of ourselves, observing ourselves from the inside. And it's not a judgment to find our blocks. It's a self-awareness. Oh, that's weird. Whenever I want to do this, this is the outfit I wear. Or whenever I want to do this, I behave this way. I wonder why that is. And then we explore it in the journaling, right? So this is why journaling is important. It is a great key and tool for manifesting, but it is not going to do everything. Yeah. So we definitely want to get out there and go through the process of what are the steps for manifesting, right? You got your 4 to 5 steps in the guide if you want to check them out. The types of blocks, we got 3 of them. And what can we use the journaling to help us with that, but acknowledging when it's not going to complete the task. When is it not going to complete the task for you? Okay? Because number one thing in manifesting, removing the blocks. If there is nothing blocking between you and your desire, now that you've decided what you want, the universe has no choice but to bring it to you immediately. No choice but to bring it to you immediately. There's nothing blocking you, which is the power of removing the blocks. How many blocks are there? Sometimes there's only just like a simple thought block. Other times I've had to sit there for a few weeks and be like, oh my gosh, this is like never ending. But this is important to me. This is what I'm trying to call in. This is the process and why I'm doing it. Because these are the things that were holding me back from where I want to be, who I want to be, and how I want to be living my life. All right. So let's get to your questions. I already see them in there. Hey, Easter. How are you? Yes, normal, loving it. Yep, James, Mary. Emmy, you're back. I love it. Great to see you back. You were on vacation, right? Yes. Love it. Love it. Okay. So, questions. What do we have here? What do we have here? Should I journal daily or just when I am inspired? Should you do your manifesting journal daily or only when you're inspired? It's a tool. It's a tool. And we don't always have to feel inspired to use a tool, but we know it's part of the process. So, what I would say there is if you feel inspired to write, write, because you don't know what's going to come out. This might be the time where it's like, oh my gosh, it's right there. I had one of these happen to me last night. I have been trying to reconcile two things in my brain, always thinking they're separate, always like I have two different brands. I run 3 different brands, by the way, and I have separate things for all of them. And then something just goes, just go write this into Chat GPT. And I'm like, okay. And I write it. And it's like, Chat GPT is like, those are one and the same. I'm like, what? What? So when you feel inspired, do it, right? Because you're being inspired. That is part of being called into the energetic field and being on the right frequency for what you're trying to manifest. So if that's the calling, do it, fulfill it, take that inspired action ASAP. But otherwise, be mindful about when you're doing it. Are you doing it because you're supposed to? Because you should? Are you doing it because you're like, hey, I can tell I have a feeling block right now. I want to explore it more. Now that's using it as a tool, provided you don't have resistance or another block related to that and so on. So it's a tool. It's a resource. It is not a must do. I have manifested plenty of things without journaling about them. But then I also know there are times that journaling is incredibly potent and powerful. So I always lean towards if you're inspired, but then from there, be mindful to where it's not part of your resistance block, but it does seem to be part of your answer. Do I write in present tense or future tense? Ooh, this is a great question. Okay. When you always want to write in present tense. Always want to write in present tense. So even though something might be happening in your future, right? You're envisioning it. You want to embody it. You want to embody it right here, right now. And that means talking about it, I have it. Because if I'm going to, let's say I'm trying to envision myself selling, I don't know, I'm going to do something that's not one of my, okay, I'm going to sell 17 books in 17 months. Okay, like that's crazy. But possible. Anything's possible if that's what you're called to do. So I wouldn't sit there and be like, okay, in 17 months, I'm going to feel like this. Because here's what happens. Your energetic field has a timeline. Your mind has a timeline. And if it always sees that the moment is in the future, it will remain in the future. It will remain abstract and apart from where you are in the present. Even if that present is in 2026, you want to feel that now. I had this happen early in my business. I kept being like, oh, the money's going to come in 2 months. In 2 months, I'm going to have another $10,000 in clients. In 2 months, I'm going to have another $2,000 in clients. Well, guess what would happen? I'd call in the clients and something would happen where they couldn't meet for another 2 months, or this would happen. And it just kept moving the timeline away. And I'm like, wait, I'm calling in the clients, but I'm saying in 2 months, not bringing 2 months to right here, right now. So the second I shifted that, no longer in 2 months, I want $2,000 in clients now. On or before this day, right? It's a difference of phrasing. So being mindful that when you say things in the future, you're telling the universe to keep them in the future, meaning they're never going to be part of your daily life. So always write in the present tense, whether that's envisioning what you want, deciding what you want, or even now. I am feeling scared about this. I am feeling scared, right? Be honest. That's how you feel. If you're using it to remove a block, be honest. That's happening right here, right now. So try to always keep things in the present tense, or make sure that you're collapsing the timelines in a way that you're not pushing things out. What if I don't believe what I'm writing? Then why are you writing it? Where's it coming from in you? Some part of you believes it. Some part of you wants that. So the rest of you that doesn't align to that is blocking it, rejecting it. You ever had that? I had a client, like our very first call, I was able to be like, you have a lot of dreams. You talk about bringing on a new director. You talk about doing this and that. And then you switch to, yeah, but. Oh, I want to try Facebook ads for the first time, but I hear they're so saturated. Oh, I want to bring on 10 more new clients while raising my prices. And yet I know the economy's bad. You ever do that? The ups and the downs, the ups and the downs. The ups, what you're thinking of? 100% possible for you. When we got her into alignment, she tripled her revenue. Tripled her revenue after 3 calls. Because all I said is, all these yeah buts, those are all blocks. That's all nonsense. Get it out of there. So as you're writing in your journal, where are these words coming from? Some part of you can connect to that truth. Or, okay, I will be honest, and I had this, sometimes I have to ask myself, are you lying to me? Am I lying to myself? What am I not telling myself the truth about? And hear that. And so what this might be is if you're having the words come out of you onto the paper, and at the same time, there's pieces of you that don't agree or align. This is what we call like that duality or duplicity inside of you. Part of you knows it's possible. The other part of it doesn't believe. And the goal is to heal them so they are one voice. You might know right away which voice is the one that needs healing and then which one's the one that's inspired, or you might not. The goal is to heal them so they are one voice within you, and that is going to be your alignment. So it's actually a sign that there's a block there. But yeah, those words came from you. Where they come from. How do I handle negative thoughts that come up? Oh, this is great. Okay, so negative thoughts. Negative thoughts they're really easy once you learn how to let the energy of your mind sort of calm. But at first, they might seem awkward or resistant. So depending on where you are in your practice. Any practice, by the way, it's called practice for a reason. None of us are ever going to be experts. But it's a practice. And the more you practice anything, the easier it gets. The more you go to the gym, the easier it gets. The more you show up to your job, the easier it gets. The more you wake up at 5 a.m., the easier it gets, right? Even if it feels awkward and hard at first. So the negative thoughts, write them down. Right, you've written it down in your journal because this is a journaling session. You've written it down and you look at this and you just go, is that ultimately true? Is it true that nobody wins the lottery? Right? Let's say you're trying to manifest a lottery win. Is it true that nobody wins? No, people win. Eventually, every single lottery has been won at some point, right? There's some big winners out there, billions of dollars winners out there. It's possible. So then you tell yourself, or you ask yourself, then why did I believe that? Do I want to believe that anymore? No, because I'm telling myself a lie, right? If people win the lottery, it's not true that nobody ever wins. And you just go through them all one by one. Ask yourself, is this ultimately true? And eventually, in the beginning, you're going to say, is this ultimately true? Where did this come from? And you want to explore it. Probably came from something you heard as a kid, which means likelihood it was from your parents, but it could have been from a teacher, could have been from the internet, not the internet. Well, I guess some of you are old enough that you were children with the internet. I'm old enough. I grew up without the internet until I was in grade school, junior high. Whoopsies, just said my age. The ideas of starting to find out where they come from, because when you get to the root cause, you'll get rid of them faster. But in time, you can drop that second step and just be like, is this true? No, then I'm not going to believe it anymore, and get it out of the way. Yep. I think there was one more. What is better, affirmations or journals? Wait, whatever you're called to do. Whatever you're called to do. There are times I find affirmations absolutely annoying and irritating. And then there are times I'm like, I need to say this to myself 20 times a day. I even have one right now. I went and I printed in fun, beautiful fonts and colors, and I printed it and put it in. I from where I'm sitting right here, I can see it 3 times in my house. 3 times. And I know there's more of them in the other side of the house. So I know that I need to repeat this. I know I need to really embed this. Where other times you already know it. You believe it. You just need to explore it. And that's where journaling is great, right? Journaling is great about exploring the thoughts and exploring why these are your feelings. That is what journaling is great for. But journaling is not going to sit there and affirm over and over again, I am worth it. I am love. Whatever, I am worthy of a great partner. I am worthy of a brilliant business. I am worthy of millions of dollars, whatever yours are. That might get easily lost if you start filling in other words on the page. Yep. All right. Don't forget to grab the manifesting guide. Like I said, it goes through all the different steps of manifesting. It's in there, 100% free. It also has a few exercises in there to help you launch your manifesting practice. And this is the CEO Legal Coach. I will see you all tomorrow. We are live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you all tomorrow.